I get those goosebumps every time you come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around me, throw that to the side, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. 713 through the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low key. I'm sipping low key and honest, fine rider. I get those goosebumps every time you come around, yeah. You ease my mind, you make everything feel fine. Worry about those comments, I'm way too numb, yeah. It's way too dumb, yeah. I get those goosebumps every time I need the Heimlich, throw that to the side, oh. I get those goosebumps every time.
Not around me. Hey!
Good evening.
How's it going?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Loading Mag NUFC, a double show special tonight. We are definitely back, and this is going to be a very, very interesting show. This very first of two. But boys, how are things? How's your day been?
Not too bad. Better than yesterday. That's all I can ask, because yesterday was a weird one yesterday. But no, I've had a good day. I've had a few hours out with the missus and stuff like that. And yeah, it's nice and sunny up in the northeast, so can't grumble.
Daz, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, Pete. Had a day off today because school's out for the summer for my little boy. So yeah, my first of a few days off here, there, and everywhere. Just filling in the blanks in between camps and this, that, and the other to keep him occupied through the summer. That's the main goal.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll be there alongside him in a couple of weeks' time. So looking forward to that. But,
you can mind him.
Sorry?
You can take care of him for me, so nice one.
Want to send him over, definitely. Him and Jackson will probably get on great. But,
yeah,
but look, we're here, and this is a show purely designed to talk about one man, and it is Sandro Tonali. Now, I don't know how our guest is going to respond to this conversation. The initial talks behind the green room were very, very interesting, and I'm really intrigued to hear what he's got to say. But look, let's not wait any longer. Let's bring him out, and look, it's Vinnie from the Milan Weekly Podcast. So welcome in, Vinnie.
Welcome, Vinnie.
Oh, it's the Juventus of the EPL, the black and white stripe. Sorry, I got a little confused. This is like a bizarre world. Good evening. Buonasera tutti. Thank you for having me on. I really, really appreciate it. And yes, I'm here to answer all your questions because, you know, we used to call each other, we used to say our slogan was, we're not professionals, nor do we pretend to be. So I'm going to try to act professional, gentlemen. But I shoot from the hip, so I am ready. I'm here joining you live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Look at all these beautiful scarves from the back, all these clubs from around the world. I got my NWO shirt because I'm a wrestling mark.
I was going to say, I noticed it. It's the Wolfpack NWO.
Hold on a second. It is red and black for Milan, but this has a bit of a connection for today because just like in the bloodline there's a civil war.
Yes.
And yous guys, yes, I said yous guys, have created the civil war within Milan fans. You're splashing your money left, right, and center. So that's why I needed to put this t-shirt on. You have caused the civil war between all Milan fans. So I'm awaiting for your questions, comments. But again, thank you for having me on.
And I thought it was bad when we got Batman.
I know.
We kicked off now.
No, we're gonna get into that.
To be fair, I think to be fair, Pete, Daz, I think we'll probably agree this. It was one particular journalist that got wound about the Botman transfer. Was it that guy Schiavone or something? He was like really, really. Why would anyone join Newcastle? You've got Milan here, and then he was like, he just did not like it one bit, did he?
And to be fair, he's been at it again with the Tonali deal. But look, talk to us. Look, first of all, Was it a surprise to you? What was the reaction within the Milan fans? And how big is this civil war that's been created on the back of that? Tell us all about it. Come on.
I would say that it would start off with, you guys know it's the clickbait era, correct? So, I think the first reports that come out, Tonali 50 million from Newcastle, we're all laughing, right? Because he's not on the market. And the surprise was a lot of people are surprised at him actually accepting this transfer and the amount of money that we got, right? The civil war that's going on right now, whether it be our Patreon members or group Milan fans, is that the civil war is going on right now where we are on one side going, okay, let's wait and see. It makes financial sense, whether they overpaid or not. $10 million a year, I believe, with the bonuses from the EPL. The problem in the system in Italy that we cannot afford these kind of wages. And the problem where lies with us, with the other part, is that they considered Tonali una bandiera, a person like a Totti, a Maldini. These guys are like a one club things where I have my arguments about that too. But in the end, the arguments that we're trying to make is that, well, he could have always said no. And in this day and age, guys, even though, we love to be emotional, but attaching ourselves to players, Donnarumma was the one thing for me. The one key thing, don't get attached to players anymore. This day and age is finished. Getting rid of Maldini the way they got rid of him, most of us have a problem with how they handled the firing. And, then Tonali a week later. So for me, I can only speak for myself. I just felt that Newcastle came knocking, started it low. Then you're getting to what, 70, 80 million? Yes, it's not really 70, 80 million because 20% has to go back to Brescia. But at that point, how can you say no to these kind of offers? So there's the divide between the Milan fans where Tonali was a future captain. He's a boyhood Milan fan. And the other half is like, hey, you know what? Let's wait and see. Let's just wait and see, because we cannot judge from a transfer what is going to happen. Results is all that counts. And for me, even I was saying before, even if we get better on paper by the first day of the season, what does that mean, better on paper? Results is all that counts. It hurts to see him leave, but for me, again, because I've been getting a lot of hate comments and you're delusional, you're this, you're that. For me, result is all that counts. If he could perform, actually, you know what, guys, what's going to happen? You just paid 80. He's going to underperform, and we're going to get him back for free in a couple of years. So thank you for the extra money. But that's the way I can sum it up in so many words.
Or we could be landing in the same group for in the Champions League. That'll be interesting.
He's not going to celebrate. He's not going to.
No, we'll have to get you over there, Vinnie. We have to get you over to St. James's if we get in the Champions League. But
and again, guys, we are talking about something that's not official, right? So let me throw this back out to you.
Oh, come on.
What if he comes back with Il Polpaccio? He's got a toothache. It doesn't. What do you guys do? Forget what you guys do. What do we do? Right? So this whole divide there, but no, like, it's official, guys.
We know a dentist. We could sort him out, I think.
Yeah.
Vinnie was saying before we went on, he was talking about what is the potential of him failing America. So I think he's holding on to a little bit of hope there.
I will say this. I think in the history, not the Zola or the Ravan, that came in the 90s to the EPL and performed. But if you look at the last Italian players from Serie A going to EPL, I think Tonali personally will be the first one that will actually not underperform. Look at the last couple of guys that went up there. Would it be the Scamacas or I feel bad, I want to go back to Italy. They haven't performed. I don't think you're going to have that problem with Tonali. That's my personal opinion.
Aquilani was the one that a lot of Liverpool fans were talking about when he went there. In mid-2000s, he did perform there. So they automatically assume that Italian players are not going to perform. So it has been a bit of a talking point over here. Not really with any Newcastle fans. But look, how good is he? We want to know, how good is he? Well, where do you think his best position will be? Bearing in mind we play with a midfield three. How good is he? Because I have to say, and I don't know, Richie, Daz, whether you saw this, is that when the deal was sort of like agreed within the 24 hours of the discussions, there was a lot of Italian journalists on social media kind of playing him down and saying that he's not as good as people make out. As a Milan fan, how good is he, and where's his best position?
Look, for anybody that would be watching our channel, more Stevie P, my co-host, than myself, have been very critical of Tonali in the last 3 years. I asked Steve for some comments. He's like, his strength is his physical play and ball winning ability, also moments of great vision. His weaknesses are that he plays too much with his back to the play. He needs to be more clinical, which is passing out of possession, which could be summed up as too inconsistent. Jan says, his best position, deep lying playmaker, which he only played at Brescia. Tonali, the first year that he was at Milan, was a total flop. When we got him to Brescia, we stole him from Inter. He came to Milan, was a total flop. Restructured his contract, lowered the wages. Our Scudetto year, wow. That's the Tonali that we wanted to see. He had a lot more better games than bad ones. And last year, guys, I'm going to be honest, and again, I'm not talking out of my ass because we said it live. You saw the Tonali without Kessie. Frank Kessie was a big part of that midfield, that double pivot, Tonali is good. Is he capable of? Absolutely, 100%. And for me, did you guys overpay? You want to talk about overpaying? 60 million goes to Brescia. The bonuses, the this, and it's another discussion on itself. But he's good. You had asked me, what is he going to bring to Newcastle? He's going to bring that grinta to you. You're going to get a guy that doesn't get injured. I think he lost like 10 games throughout 3 years. Grinta, and I'm not saying this that he's on that level of Gattuso. Gattuso brought grinta to the game. When he gives you your best, he gives you your best. But for me, the big thing that I realized is that Kessie, we thought was going to be, not a loss, but I think you realize of Tonali's performances without him was a major impact. On the other side, well, now he's going to be playing with other players. Maybe a midfield of 3. It might be completely different, So for me, Tonali is, how do we like to title these? World-class, average. I would say Tonali at his age, people want to talk about, he had a great game against in the under-21s. Okay, so why are we out? Why are we out? He had a great, passing. He had a great, but why are we out? Why are we losing to Norway? He's still young. I think the investment is there. But again, I think it's the Tonali, I believe, from what I've seen from, not that I used to watch Brescia Serie B, like your championship league, from what I've seen from Milan the first year, and you could say Tonali has been criticized. Year 2018, the year before Scudetto was criticized by my friend Steve all the time. Scudetto year was fantastic, and that if you guys go take back a look at the Lazio goal, where he scored that goal against Lazio, that I thought was going to be a foul, and he pushed the defender, and you see that grinta, that love for Milan, right? That's what he's going to bring. But I would probably put him right now as above average, would keep a lot more room to grow, especially at his age.
And we have a manager in Eddie Howe who will get the best out of him. Give him a bit of time, but he'll get the best out of him. Whatever level he's at now, he'll get more out of him. He has done. He's got a proven track record of doing that now at this stage. So keep watching this space. I think
I'll keep watching. The only thing I would say, like the way he could adapt to a 3-man defense instead of having those two, those two center midfielders, the double, the Kessie and the Kessie and Tonali. The Benacer and Tonali. And there's another discussion where we thought that if Benny wasn't injured, maybe it was him to go, right? And again, was the civil war going to happen if Benacer, guys, is fantastic. And for me, and I'm not speaking just for myself, some people believe that our best midfielder last year he's Benacer. Benacer was our best midfielder. I'm not taking anything away from Tonali. I think he's going to bring something to your team. but consistency, you know, like Steve says, like it's summed up as too inconsistent. But again, he's very young, right? So I think the quality of the players that you guys will bring around him, and I don't think you guys spent 80 million not for him to be a starter, correct? So
Correct.
Definitely. Cool. Mindful, probably about halfway through. So, boys, if you've got any questions for Vinny, I've got a few, and I think there's a few in the chat. But
Yeah, there's a few good ones in the chat. Yeah.
Feel free to ask one or two questions for what people want to know. What we got.
Maybe just what was your thoughts initially, Vinny? And did you hear of when we were linked, like a couple of days before that, we were linked to Barella from Inter? What did you make of that story first?
You know, for me, it's you know, we're grown ass men, gentlemen. This clickbait world, the Barella and all these news, and everybody's going everywhere. Barella, for me, is considered Italy's best midfielder. I didn't say that. He's an Interista. Just cut this off.
We can cut that way, yeah.
You know, if you got to look by talents, if Tonali goes for 80, what does Barella go for? 100? You know? And for me, the way I look at it, I don't blame you have a Bruno. Thank you, Kamal. I think the problem lying in all here is that Newcastle would be able to put their hands on the title. Yeah. What I was trying to say is that the being able to sell guys like Barella, Tonali, you know, Italians that we need to, because Italy sucks, guys. Our system sucks. Look at the last, you know, European championships, whether it be the unders, the World Cups. Guys, if you didn't realize, the last time our national team won an elimination game in the World Cup is 2006 finals. That's fucking sad. But Barella, you know, for me, if Barella would move out, I just feel pity for the Italian system. But if they can grow, guys, long are the days of, oh, they're playing in England, where we're not going to call them up to the national team at the Arrigo Sacchis and the Fabio Capellos. Those days are over, right? If they can develop, but I just feel bad because we can't develop our own talents there. But no, I didn't put. Honestly, I think it was 10 years ago. Jonathan Biabiani was with a Milan jersey taking pictures, and we still didn't sign him. So I think until I see that those three guys on the table signing the contract, I don't believe anything anymore, guys. I really don't believe it. Even this Lofton Cheeks. Until I see, like, hey, passes medicals, I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything until I see the pic. Okay, now we're good. The official statement. Any questions for guys? By the way, may I shoot from the hip? Any questions? You pop them up. I'll answer as best as I can. But
yeah, we've already got quite a few in the chat for you. So let's have a look. Obviously, there's a good comment here from 9NUFC. Jesus basically says Tonali has been a steal. Man United have just signed Mason Mount for 10 million more on 250k per week, almost double the wage that Tonali's going to get. Ashford, the team have done well on that one. Would you agree with that as well? You know, obviously you've probably seen quite a bit of Mason Mount when you've watched the EPL. Who would you prefer in your team, Tonali or Mason Mount? I know who we'd prefer.
No, 100%. The problem is that it's not a fair comparison because you guys splash money with reason because you're making that money, right? That guy Rice, what did he go for? 105.
Yeah.
Right. So it's you know, a steal by your standards, right? EPL standards, possibly for the amount of money that you sold him for. And again, guys, I go back to what I said at the beginning. It's a steal results.
Yeah.
You need to see results because whatever the case may be, right? You buy X amount of players, X player here, you bought him for lower than what he's valued at, but he doesn't perform. What are you doing with that money? So for us, Milan, it's not 80. It's like, you know, take 20% off to Brescia. Like I was saying, the managers, the agents, I think we're getting about 55, give or take. For us, 55. Okay, it's a good deal. But it's the heart that comes into the discussion where it's like, oh, but he's a Milanista and I don't want to sell him and he was going to be Capitano Futuro. But, you know, a steal according to the EPL finances, yes, I would say yes.
Kamal's put it, it's an interesting one, actually. So it'd be good to get your take on this. And what he says is, to be honest, I'm still surprised with Tonali actually moving to the Premier League, because Italian footballers don't usually leave Serie A, especially towards the EPL as well. What's your take on that sort of aspect of the deal, Vinny?
I think his comment is very valid from maybe 15, 20 years ago, where the heart had a lot to do with, the loyalty. The guys, Francesco Totti. How did Francesco Totti stay at Roma for all these years when he had offers at at Madrid? I think Tonali, again, this is my opinion. Surprised that Tonali moves. But the money he's making on this transfer is almost quadrupling his salary. So I go back to when he was at Brescia, and we're talking about guys that he's a childhood Milanista. He accepted offers from Inter because what? He did the best decision for himself, for Brescia, and his family. So right now, why is it so hard to believe that Tonali made the best decision for his Milan, for Brescia, and for his family? He's going to be taking care of his family and I think it's the emotional part that gets us. And people saying, oh, he could have said no, maybe they forced him out. Guys, look at Lukaku. Lukaku is being offered who knows how many millions from Saudi Arabia. What does he keep on saying? No, I just want to eat that.
Yeah.
Am I mad that Tonali said, absolutely not? I said, good for you. You did something good for yourself. And I'm trying to look at this. As a Milanista. I cheer my team, AC Milan, and I'm happy for him. And again, guys, you guys are gonna loan us him next year for free. So it's all good.
Just another one that sort of follows on from that one, and it's from our mod, Lisa. And she actually says, question, Vinny, do Italians rate the Premier League? Is this seen as a good move for Tonali? Because obviously, if you look at the comparison for European football this season, both Italian teams and English teams did well in the European Cup this year. So what's your thoughts overall on the move for Tonali? Do you actually rate the Premier League as a good move for him personally?
I would probably think that tactically, no. That's my personal opinion. For his own personal, whether it be salary and experience abroad, you're always going to get something from experience abroad. Because people want to talk about what's the best league in the world. People always talk about the EPL. Okay, but even if Italy has the best who gives a shit? The tactics, right? Oh, well, a Sassuolo versus Sampdoria game is very tactical, but people will watch two bottom teams in the EPL more than these ones here. So a good move for him, I think, honestly. I'm going to go back to the tactically. I do not think so, because Italians are always known to be best tacticians, which doesn't mean you're going to win every game, as you've seen with the national team. But I think his experience, especially at this young age, to see at what's on the other side of the fence, right? To look at, here's the way they play. This is the way they play in the English Premiership, right? There's always the argument that you guys might have the best league in the world, but look at results, whether it be in World Cups, whether it be in Champions League. Even people saying, oh, look, we have 6 teams in the semifinals, all the Europeans. And my buddy Steve would always say, and what are people going to remember? Semifinalists or who won? So we lost every single finals, right? Every semifinal. So in the end, you want to talk about who's reaching here, who's reaching there. Results is all that matters. That's my again. This is, guys. That's always my opinion. I'm no professional. I'm not a reporter. This is just good old Vinny from Milan Weekly Podcast from Montreal. And Pete, you're muted yourself there.
The other thing is that I think Mancini has given his blessing as well for him to go experience life in the Premier League, and he probably can see from his own experience himself that it can add to his game, perhaps.
Yeah, why not? Like I can see, even though maybe like we're saying that on paper maybe tactically Italy is better, but what can he not learn something else, right, from the EPL? And I go back to that young age. If he was 30. You're already implemented in your ways, right? So it's like to try to, teach an old dog a new trick might be different, but I think the fact that he's at that age, I think is a good experience for him, 100%.
Yeah, as we always say, great. Pete, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was going to say no. You're absolutely right, Richie. Really. I just wanted to just throw in a different type of question here. been a lot of talk from the Newcastle perspectives about a certain player leaving Newcastle in the summer and was linked with you in January. So how much talk is there in the Milan circles from an AC Milan point of view that AC Milan are interested in ASM? Do you know much about him and would you potentially take him?
I'm not going to pretend that I know everything, but guys, it's okay. I'm going to go watch a YouTube clip of his moves for like 30 seconds and I'm going to know everything about the player, right? I don't know if you guys know. I think we've been linked with him like for the last couple of years, and I would say his name is not hot on the discussions that whether it be our group, the WhatsApp groups or online. But again, if he's going to come to Serie A, forget Milan, Serie A, you're going to have to lower those wages. You're going to have to lower here. So it's like, are these players ready to do this kind of stuff? And that's, I think, where we could differentiate these kind of players, where who's willing to cut their salaries for playing time. Look at the Thuram, right? Forget that we were following him. He went to sign for Inter. He would have got more money at PSG. But for him, playing time was much as important. So I think that says a big on the character of the player. But to answer your question, I think it's been last year was a lot of talks about him, the year before, but now we're signing this the Dutch kid from Ajax. Again, it seems until they sign that paper, I ain't believing shit. Sorry if I shouldn't be swearing. Is this a
no,
not suitable?
Right.
We're good.
Yeah,
okay, we're good.
Right, I've got a couple more questions to round up. Obviously, we're going to jump onto another stream after this.
Yeah, sorry, I talk a lot. Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine. Question from Iniesta Wijnaldum, and he wants to know, Vinny, is Tonali better as a mezzala or a regista?
I would probably say regista.
Regista, cool.
I will probably say regista on that. Again, guys, this is just like your podcast. This is all about our personal opinions. That's what I think. But if I need to believe what you guys are telling me about your coach right now, that he could bring the best out of him, and at least Tonali, you're going to get his Gattuso-esque grinta, right? And I don't want to compare him again. You know, people will tell, he's the new Pirlo. He's the new... No. There's one Pirlo. There's one Gattuso. There's one Alan Shearer, right? So just don't...
And there's one Marco Van Basten.
So it's just you know, he's gonna bring that, you know, like for him going after. I remember when during a derby, right, and there was a bit of you know, with Theo Hernandez. Yes, Theo Hernandez likes to throw himself on the floor. He's gotten a little better, but there was a player trying to pick at him, and Tonali was right there, like straight in his face. That's what you're gonna get with this kind of player, right? Tactically, hopefully, he can be at his best. For you guys, but not if we play each other in Champions League. Then he could go back on the bench. He could go back on the bench.
And do you know what? We've got one very light-hearted question to see out, and all the viewers, and I know the lads would be mad if I didn't ask this question. And Jano's put it in the chat for us, and we've got to ask this. Vinny, have you ever seen a Mackem in Milan?
Excuse me. What is a Mackem?
Exactly.
That answers it all.
I speak French, Français, I speak English, parlo un poco di Italiano, ma Mackem, what is a Mackem?
Yes. Vinny, you can come
back. That's the correct answer.
That's the right answer. I'm going to go Google Translate after Mackem.
Yeah, you don't want to know what Mackem is. Don't worry about that.
Put it this way, Vinny, the answer will be no.
But let me ask you something. Is a Mackem friends with an Interista?
He's on the right wavelength. He's on the right wavelength.
No,
right wavelength, yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah. I will do some research. I will ask my friend Google. He will tell me what Mackem is. But I'm taking up too much of your time, guys. I'm talking too much, and you know. And again,
pleasure.
I love your accent because I don't have an accent. All of you have an accent. I love it. But no, best of luck to Tonali. I really hope that he performs well, unless we play each other in the Champions League. But you know what? Maybe I'll get one of you guys on our podcast. You know, maybe after 10 games, 15 games, what your thoughts are. And I'm assuming that some of your fans, after one game, if it doesn't perform good, they're gonna go, "What a mistake! Give him back to Milan." Because that's the way.
If we know Eddie Howe, he probably won't even play in the first game, so it's all right.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Is that medical? Is that a
Vinny, thank you very much for coming and joining us, talking us all about Tonali. Best of luck in the season ahead for AC Milan, apart from if and when we meet you in the Champions League. But pleasure having you on with us, Vinny.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. And io say ovunque sempre Forza Milan, Forza Tonali. I only wish the best for him because for me, that's where my heart lies. And hopefully he brings you guys a lot of joys until you loan him back to us for free. Thank you.
Pleasure, my man.
Thanks,
You take
Vinny.
care.
Guys.
Thanks
What
for
is
that.
Thanks,
it?
Vinny.
Bye-bye.
All the best, mate.
Of course, the show isn't finished yet. We'll go straight on to another stream because we have fully loaded transfer show with the boys from the Chronicle. So we join us on that as we move across there. Give us a minute. We will be there. We'll just close out with the how. How'd you like that one?
How you like